the reason why rap, when people don't like rap, right? Because people can just hear it as a total abuse of the language, and it's like, dude, like you're not even disrespecting me. You're disrespecting everyone in the room and everyone who hears this, and not only that, but I mean, um, the entire aspect is just respect me because I disrespect people.
Mm. Yeah, and some of the raps, like I guess in secular rap, it could be, and so now they're trying to take it to Christian rap and make it more of like it's like you can't do nothing to me basically because I got Jesus on my side. Like it's kind of like um how do you put it like I'll stand behind Jesus. I'll go to war with you for Jesus. Like there's like I don't know, for me there's an attitude to rap. That's just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think rap started off with poetry, right? It was
Yeah.
like it's supposed to be poetic. It's supposed to be like, like little words like hip hop, hippie, hippie to the hip hop, you don't stop, right? To the bang bang
Yeah.
boogie, say up jump the boogie. So now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And it's just like it was playful. It was like, it was just fun. It was like, oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
cool, that's groovy. And then it really took a turn in the 90s. It
Yeah.
really took a turn in the 90s because then gangster rap came in, NWA, Tupac, Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls, and they ruined, like, I wouldn't say they ruined it because it was a good peak, but then it's like, at the same time, you're kind of like, is this what we want to be talking about? You know? Like, I think media itself has, like, in the beginning, we were watching the other day, when we turn on the TV, it's always having this, it'll be a random movie or random TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just lately, it's been like these black and white movies. And it's this guy, and he's singing to this girl. And he's like, Darla, I'll do anything for you. I'll give you the moon. And it's like, we don't have any movies nowadays that has like a man singing to a girl or going like, and she's all dressed up in a nice dress and he's in a tux. And now it's like the movies, the media, I think like the devil really came into the movie industry and everything. He just started polluting it. Like TV, he started polluting it. He started polluting movies. He started polluting rap music. Like it all had a good start, right? Like even R&B music was really good back in the 40s and 50s. Really good, all about love and all about everything. And then now it started turning into just pure like sex. And then it was like heartbreak, and now it's just like heartbreak and sex. And then now it
Yeah.
doesn't even exist. You don't even hear R&B music anymore.
Yeah, I think what like Juice World was pretty much the last of it, like
Bro.
last thing that came out as far as what R&B is supposed to be.
Bro, I don't even, if you even consider that R&B. I don't consider that R&B at all. Like I feel like R&B to me, bro, died when in the early to mid 2000s, like Alicia Keys, Usher, Neo, trying to think of some other good like R&B artists, Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
I think it stopped then, because then we don't have any good music. We don't have, like, to me personally, I shouldn't be like that, but we don't have any good secular music anymore. That's why it's secular music. But it's just so it's like, how can I be so oblivious? How can I be so raunchy, like you said, disrespectful of like to everybody in the room, but respect me? Yeah.
I mean, the political contention that comes with these kinds of things
That too.
is very much made. I mean, it's contrived to go. It's contrived. Very much made to contrive people's sensibilities, and that's the reason why, they're obligated to put out a bad album once in a while.
Hmm.
It's all part of a political contention. Frame to pretty much be like, we don't cater to the public; they cater to us. We got to go ahead and provide them with something that they want to, they enjoy, and then they really enjoy it, and then afterwards we go ahead and just, what do? They always give them trash. So you get the first peak where it's like, it's all going up and it's all going good, and you're like, this is either, if it's not good, it's interesting, but then finally it makes a turn where it's just like, it's all bad.
Yeah, no kidding. And it stays that way and gets really, really bad. And then when you think they can't get any worse, they do. Yeah. All right. Welcome back, kings and queens, to another chapter of Said, where we cut off the branches and we dig up the roots. I am your host, Said. Today we have a special show on Said. We have a new guest for the first time. We got my boy Eddie. Say what's up, Eddie.
Hey there.
We got my boy Eddie, guys. Y'all are in for a good treat today. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with a friend. You never know what goes on or what's said on the show that could help somebody out. We put a new show out every single Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. And that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Other platforms as well, but those are the three pillars that we use here. So we're gonna get into the show today. So let me fix this real quick. All right. So Eddie, what's going on, man?
I just finished my video for the intro of my channel. It's very strange.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, I'm so sorry. Oh. We're gonna hop into this. Let's pray for. Let's open up with prayer for them. Right. My bad. I'm so sorry. You get it. All right, Heavenly Father, we just come to you in the mighty name of Jesus, and we just thank you so much for this day, Father. We thank you for the breath in our lungs. To every single viewer who's breathing right now, we just thank you for their breath, that you've given them another day, Father, that they have purpose in this world, and the reason why they're still here is because they're here to live out your purpose according to your will. So we thank you, Father, for the purpose in their life. We thank you for the plans that you have for us, plans not to harm us, but plans to prosper us, plans for a hope and a future. And we thank you for that hope and that future that you have in store for us according to your riches. Let the Holy Spirit fill this room, fill the airwaves, fill the video, just fill everything, and let your power be known in this show. We just thank you. We give it to you. All the glory goes to you, God, in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right, my bad. Okay, so you just finished doing your channel, doing your show. What's the name of your channel?
Faith into the Eternal.
So what's that about?
I put a bunch of essays that I wrote on the channel, and they were, all pretty much Christian based. Trying to go ahead and understand the scriptures, and I was trying to understand it myself, So the only way to go and understand is actually write about it, and not write about it from a sense of like, I'm gonna go ahead and just grab go through the whole cafeteria and just pick what I want, and just pretty much take in whatever direction I want and make it into whatever I want. I mean, that's not Christianity. That would be blasphemy or completely heretical. So I was actually trying to go ahead and be like, I need to understand this stuff, and the thing is that, I need to understand it at a possible depth, mm-hmm. that I really get it, more than anyone, more than anything, because I need to understand it. And
why did you feel that way? Like, why did you feel the need that you needed to understand it more than anyone or anything? Like, what was it on you that made you feel that way?
Because anything that you're gonna go ahead and do, you want to have full detail about what. I mean, if you go ahead and take a medication, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, if you look at the direction, it's like take 2 per day, right? And you somehow can't seem to understand that. Mm-hmm. Then you really need someone needs to go ahead and really help you understand. It's like, what did it say? It's like it says take 2 a day. It's like, what? So then what do you do? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't take 2 a day. Like, exactly my point. So I mean,
like, why? And with that being said, it's how many people, in that light of medication, How many people, when they go and get a diagnosis, do they even understand their diagnosis, or even understand why they're taking 2 a day? Or is this medication a temporary thing? Is this medication a permanent thing? Because, I mean, how many times for me personally, you go to the doctor and then they're like, they prescribe you something, they tell you something, and then you're like, yeah, okay. Do you have any questions for me? No, I don't. It's like, all right, get out of here. I got to sign you the description. Go ahead. Take 2 a day. You'll be all right. And there's no like substance there. There's no understanding. There is no like game plan of like, hey, we're going to do it for this long. This is what this does. This is the breakdown of it to fully understand why you're being prescribed this medication. Mm-hmm. And then here's the complications that can come from it. And here's what is good from it. That isn't said really ever in a doctor's office when you go to get checked up on. And so with that light and that term, when you think about it with scripture, because we were talking about, you were wanting to start this all with like understanding, because it's for you to understand, not just because you want to be better than anyone. It's just like, no, if I'm going to read this, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be into it. I need to understand exactly what I'm reading, the depths of what I'm reading, and do the research. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Instead of just doing something just to do it because this is just what's supposed to be done.
What I'm doing, right?
Right.
And yeah, like, I mean, depression. I mean, they prescribe medication and it's like they don't even know what they're taking. And you look at the mechanism of action, or the mechanism of action or of a lot of these medicines, and they don't even know how it works. It says, like, you look at the wikis or a lot of the different sources, and they're kind of like, some of them are pretty I guess referential to, or they know how it works and they'll state it so. But other ones, a lot of them, you look at them, it's like, we don't really know how this works. And it's like, and you're prescribing it to people. Mm-hmm. At least they haven't disclosed how it works yet.
Isn't that have to go a little bit further, though? If I'm not mistaken, don't these doctors get told to push certain medications for certain industries or something like that, so that they can, isn't there like a...
In the psychiatry department, that's exactly how it is.
Okay.
If you end up in a mental institute, the first thing, the reason why they go ahead and just push drugs on everyone who goes in there, is no matter push drugs on everyone who goes in there, is because their entire budget depends on how much prescription they prescribe.
Is that only in a mental institute, or would that be
more than anywhere else?
So more than anywhere else, but in other places as well, as what other doctors or other organizations as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of, how do you call it? A lot of play between the prescribers and, I guess, the medical practitioners, the hospital and medical practitioners, and the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical companies. And we all kind of, like, brush past this notion here and there. We all know about it.
Yeah.
At this point, it's common knowledge. It's just, how much do you know about it?
You say it's common knowledge, but common sense isn't that common nowadays. as much as you want to call it common sense.
Yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, like, you go ahead and talk to someone about this stuff, and they're like, they get into a debate with you. I mean, the first thing they do is get into a debate with you. Even though, like it's right, they know very well what you're saying is right, and they're still kind of like, yeah, but you don't really know that. It's like, or I mean, it's people. I don't know. Some people do it because they're how do you call it? Predisposed to sociopathology. They're sociopathic. They're very sociopathic. A lot of people are. They don't even know it. And the other reason why is because they, they're debative, because they don't they don't want to take anything seriously. So you bring up something like this, and immediately it's like, why, like immediately, right? They get it. They have a debate, with you, instead of having some kind of a agreement or discussion. It's like, yeah, that's happening. Immediately, like you question the whole thing. It's like, oh, common sense is like you said, common sense isn't common anymore. Yeah.
And that's really good about debating, because everyone nowadays does debate quickly. There is no, well, okay, that's what you think, and this is what I think. We're just gonna have to more or less agree to disagree. It's no, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you're the enemy, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, get away from me. There is no, like, I don't know what it is with our this. It's not our generation, because it's every generation, older, younger, all these things. But it's like you can't have a disagreement on something, or even be able to have like dialogue or context or conversations over a topic where you have disagreement to see, okay, well, why do you think the way that you think on that topic? Where does that thought process come from? And where's your sources? What do you mean by that? And then this is what I think from it. This is my sources. This is why I believe that way. And then come to a consensus of like, okay, now what's the real problem? That doesn't happen nowadays. Like, just like a mutual conversation, like just have a conversation to have a conversation. Instead, people get really like pushed off, and they're like, no, like, I don't even, you're wrong, I've seen it, I've done. It's like, I'm not trying to prove if you're right or wrong. Even if I am wrong, us as a society, shouldn't we have a conversation so that if we are truly wrong and we're lacking information, because in the word it does say that my people will perish due to lack of knowledge. So like, shouldn't we iron sharpen iron each other and talk to each other? And now I know we're getting a little bit far off, because they're talking about non-believers and believers, and that's where a big distortion is, because we're not all believers. Not everyone has it's all about belief systems, where they come from, because people do actions based upon their beliefs,
and we're not all genuine.
And we're what?
And we're not all genuine.
Yeah, because a lot of people are dealing with, like you said, they're a little bit of sociopathic. They're traumas. They have a lot going on. And there's a part of them that doesn't want to let you into their world, to truly what's behind the curtain of what they're masking themselves with their certain feelings or topics. And just because they don't want to get hurt. A lot of it is protection. It's not really disagreements. It's just really, they're just trying to protect themselves. But I feel like they're just hurting themselves even more by not having conversation like this. Be able to have conversation, hear what someone's going through. You may not need to agree with it, you may not need to understand it, but we need to be able to have conversation and understand people's reasoning and whys, because you can't help out anything or talk to anyone or understand where they're coming from if you're not even willing to hear someone out, even if it's something that you didn't hear. Kind of like Jesus sat with sinners. He sat with people who were wrong and are quote unquote wrong, but he did that because he needed to know. He came for the lost. He came for the broken. He came for them. But if he couldn't come for them if he had not known, what if they were like, well, if he went to him like, I'm righteous, I'm Jesus, I'm the King of Kings, how dare you do what you're doing? No, he said, hey, like, what's going on? He was understanding them. He was trying to be there with them. And
there wasn't any social media broadcasting back then. So.
And there wasn't. And he did a lot more than what social media is doing now.
Yeah.
Which, I wouldn't say that a lot more now, because a lot of social media is powerful on how quickly it can catch fire and just spread. But I had to imagine what Jesus would do with social media. But in the beginning of our conversation, we had started with your articles that you do.
That and you don't know how just one word can go ahead and change everything. Like all like an entire scale of people's conversation. People's what people are putting out.
Like what? Can you go further into that?
Well, you put out one thing that's like, very actually doing something, right? Like everyone's going to go ahead and react to it. Everyone's going to respond to it.
I like what you said the first time. react.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people nowadays are doing, have you ever seen somebody put a video out and they got the video and then they have themselves with the video behind them, kind of like a green screen, and they're doing a reaction to the video? Or like Candace Owens, for instance, she'll have a video, half of her up and then half the video at the bottom, and then she'll be watching it, and then the video will end, and then she'll do a reaction to the video. So I like that, because a lot of people are just reacting to things. Like a reaction is kind of like, if somebody bangs on the door, everybody reacts, right?
Yeah.
They're like, man, who is that?
Yeah.
But instead of somebody banging on the door, and it's like, okay, hold on. Like, we understand somebody's banging on the door. And then, like, if somebody bangs on the door, instead of reacting, like, in a nervous way, which is most people, that's a reaction. Maybe it's somebody who needs some help. Maybe somebody out there is injured. Somebody's hurt. Or maybe it's police. Maybe we don't know. But instead of, like, reacting to it real quick and quick to respond, maybe we need to be quicker to understand, like, okay, what's going on? Who is it there? Why are they knocking? Mm-hmm. What's the purpose of it? And trying to understand. It must be something new. Or is it an insane person who's knocking on my door? Who knows, right? But let's be quicker to understand what someone is saying versus quicker to react. Like, a lot of people, my wife has been telling me that she sees me getting better at listening to someone to listen, instead of listening to someone to respond. And I used to do that, and I think a lot of us do that nowadays. It's a selfish way of being. Like, we are quick to listen to just, okay, let me tell you what I think about that. And it's like, you're not even listening to what I'm saying. How can we even have a conversation if you're not even hearing me?
Yeah. That is kind of how we were all raised, more or less, nowadays, right? So we've all had trouble with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's being genuine. It's just the struggle of being genuine or being who the world wants you to be. I've never really been able to actually, gain a proper understanding as to being like, so I'm gonna go ahead and just be like, a facetious, charismatic, individual who doesn't really have a core to themselves as far as being like a legitimate person.
Mm-hmm.
And
you could twist it right here.
Right.
It'll turn it. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Rap. I'm gonna rap. So I mean, I don't like to say stuff like that, because then you're being arrogant, right? Then you're being arrogant. But rap and rock, pop, and rap have been mostly mostly designed to promote a lot of things, promote things that three things mostly, either revenge, suicide, or I wrote it in my papers because it was three specific ones, and those are the two occurring, reoccurring themes. I mean, like you see it in there, and the third one being rape. It's very much whenever you go ahead and you just go through genius.com and you just randomly go through people's videos and their songs and their lyrics and all that. I mean, you just keep on seeing the theme over and over.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you give an example?
A lot of Nirvana's songs were about suicide and not caring about yourself at all, or not caring about anything anymore.
A lot of early 2000 rocks was like that.
Yeah, and it came at the 90s, like you said. It was at the beginning of the 90s that they pretty much went ahead and turned the entire, how do you call it, empty, infrastructure of MTV.
Yeah.
And what they were going ahead and putting out, and turned it over.
That's a really good point, because the 80s, I'm sorry, the 80s was their music, their rock music was, to me personally, some of the best 80s music. I love 80s music. I grew up in it. My mom was an 80s baby. I loved it. She grew up in that era, bro. And
I remember that one.
Yeah, awesome era. The hairdo, it was all about like the 80s movies. They were awesome. Yeah, like The Breakfast Club, like all that good stuff, right? But you're right. They really did take a turning point in the 90s. That's a hard one too. I didn't think about how much they spoke on suicide in these songs, but could you talk more about
and they say that the 90s wasn't that bad. No, I mean, the thing is that
nah, bro.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, the 90s were bad. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm a 95 baby. I didn't even grow up in the 90s, but I was born in 95. But just knowing my dad grew up in the 90s, he was a teen in the 90s, and he was born in 76, so that would have made him what, in the teens, I think, at that point. And his favorite guy was Tupac. That was his idol, and he lived just like Tupac did. Actually, he wanted to be like him, if not better than him. And he hung around with thugs, he hung around with gangsters, and that's back whenever thugs and gangsters were truly like about that kind of life. I think the crime rate, if I'm not mistaken, spiked in the 90s, and the homicide rate, if I'm not mistaken, spiked in the 90s because of all the influence of music, the influence of movies. Even I think some of the best like Bronx Tale, like thug movies, American Gangster, that might have came out in the 2000s. What's the Godfather series? Tony Montana, the Scarface.
Yeah, that came out. That was 80.
Oh, that was an 80. See,
1980.
Okay, so like all that stuff right there played a huge role during that time. Yeah, the 90s were I guess you could say some of the best, but some of the absolute worst. But that makes sense if it was the best and worst time. They say the 90s was the best, but in retrospect too, it's truly was the worst.
Yeah. NWA came out specifically to go ahead and, put in the kind of elements and messages and characteristics they wanted to put into rap. They're not a from the ground up, pretty much a organic, spontaneous, how do you call it,
Like
phenomenon.
Like Seth said.
Yeah.
Very organic. Start from, I'm not a plant, where you have a music producer who has an agenda, right?
Yeah, they got their money to go ahead and being like, all right, so here's your record label. You're gonna go ahead and start doing this and promoting all of this garbage from the dark part of the gang industry, which, I mean, we all very well know that it extends into the music industry.
Yeah.
Executives, producers, etc. Same way Beastie Boys got their start. They were not they were pretty much set to go ahead and be totally famous, completely successful, and were pretty much marked, not marked, but they were marked to go ahead and be the first white rappers. And who put them out? Def Jam Records, which is the most prominent of the rap what do you call it, record labels.
Yeah,
that was back then. I mean, I was in the 80s.
So Def Jam record artists, just for anybody who's out there who's curious. Let's see. Let's go to the bottom. Ludacris, Jeezy, YG, Little Durk, Fabulous, Logic, DJ Khaled, Ja Rule, Wale, Pusha T, Vince Staples, Redman, Jennifer Lopez, Dave East, Rihanna, Big Sean, Snoop Dogg, Jeremiah. Snoop Dogg, wasn't he with? Oh, maybe he was with them.
Well,
I thought he was with the West Coast with.
he moves around because I mean he's got that kind of just viability and stuff like that.
Rick Ross, DMX, Nas. That was a big one. Nas was huge. Method Man, LL Cool J, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Public Enemy, Beastie Boys.
Yeah, Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, that was another one. Run DMC.
That was kind of like the turning point, right? Where it was like, all right, it was like half fun and like half serious, and kind of taking some of the sense of pretty much um approving of African culture, like our African roots or their our African roots, their African roots,
Yeah. Frank Ocean, Jay-Z, Kanye West, LeAngelo Ball, get out of here. Rick Rubin, that's an interesting character. Do you know much about Rick Rubin?
He produced Beastie Boys' first album, which kind of tells you just how well they were in to go ahead and be how well in they were set, how well in they were to go ahead and be a successful band and successful project, because these things go beyond bands. I mean, the band is just the first part, the first start.
Yeah.
Past that, it's a whole career of different kinds of things. I mean, you see how these people go from being a musician, and then ends up being something like an actor, and then like an activist, and then is like, and then has shows up at the White House giving some kind of a attributive statement about what the White House or the president, the what do you call it, each term of presidency, what do you call that?
Yeah, I mean it's their terms. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like they go ahead and say something over at the White House, and so it's like, yeah, man,
it's like they sponsor them in its own sense.
Yeah,
but that's a very interesting point that you point out, because there is like a blueprint to it if you watch it. Like you said, like they get this person, they back them with a lot of money, an agenda, and it's usually a singer, it's a record label or something that will back them. Or
Taylor Swift has her own magazine.
She has her own magazine now.
I mean, she has like multiple, dude. Like, I mean, I can't go to a single store and like see us like 3 or 4 different magazines of her, and they're all different ones, man. Like, really? She got like coloring books. I mean, like Whole Foods, I don't know, like half of Whole Foods is like Taylor Swift. And the last year, they put Pokemon on Time magazine, right? For almost like, I want to say a quarter of a year or possibly half a year. And this year they put Mario on Time magazine.
Why do you think that is?
To make the population completely stupid.
Really?
Because you wouldn't have Pokemon or Mario on Time magazine 5 or 10 years ago. People would have just outright just laughed at that and just had a total outrage, on a just social media scale of just being like, this is absolutely stupid, dude. Like, how are you gonna go ahead and make, how do you call it, Time magazine, which actually tries to discuss things that are important and significant, and things that either actually happen or being questioned as to the viability, as to the controversy of what happened as to the narrative or the historical documentation, the historical discussion, and then they change it to to Pokemon on Time magazine, Mario on Time magazine, and Friends on People magazine for like almost 4 months, dude.
When was this?
Whenever how do you call it, Matthew Perry supposedly died. I don't like saying that because I will leave that for whenever it can actually be verified. But when Matthew Perry died.
It's 2023.
Yeah.
That's the date, October 28th, 2023.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry, guys, is the guy from Friends. For those of you that don't know who Matthew Perry is off of the name, he's Chandler on Friends.
Yeah.
So that way, because like
he
because wasn't he kind of pushing back real quick before we talk about Matthew Perry and go on the pushback that I think he was doing. You talk about this on your channel with your articles, or
yeah, the articles are definitely discussing on some of the things that, you know, some of the things that go on in Hollywood and stuff like that.
And they can find your channel and your article where at again? I just want to make sure, because I know we spoke about it in the beginning and we've been kind of going through it. I just want to give a reminder.
Okay. Faith into the Eternal.
Faith into the Eternal.
Yeah.
And that is found where?
YouTube. If you want to do a quick search, which I still need to go ahead and update the videos for the two articles or two articles is the development of the subjective and political use of the English language. Okay. And the other one, which is much longer, it discusses the intricate aspects of Hollywood, and it's about 3 hours to narrate. So that's the reason why I have a hard time getting that video up, because I redid the entire article. Pretty much, I was thinking, like, this thing isn't exactly complete. I can go ahead and make it better. Uh-huh. And I was gonna go ahead and put it up, but then it's like, this is a 3.5 hour narration, dude. Like, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and have to be here, yeah. And with just like some of the neighbors pretty much bothering me because I'm doing this thing. Yeah. Due to the spiritual warfare, it makes it very difficult, because you're there trying to do this thing, and it's like, you're saying that it's like, like my neighbor practices witchcraft, and of course, right, this is like getting their attention because, like, yo, this is messing my my deal up. Yeah. My agenda. I don't care what it is you're doing. I just care about whatever I'm doing. And it's like, that's not. Yeah.
In your 3.5 hour show, I was gonna say show, but in your 3.5 hour production, maybe you can take like 5 to 10 minute clip, mm-hmm. or 19-minute clip, and then also add that with it, and then the description just say this is a clip, but then go to the actual full thing, and that way you can break it up in clips, because I'm sure there are certain parts that are really strong that can send them back to that. That's how I found out about this guy, David Goggins. Somebody took a 7-minute clip from the Joe Rogan podcast, and it wasn't even him talking, David Goggins. It was actually some other dude named Jesse who was talking about David Goggins. Then I saw that on YouTube as a 7-minute clip, and then I went and watched and found out about David Goggins on Instagram, on everything. So maybe that's one thing that you could try out is, and I'm about to start doing that too, because as you can see, a 4.5 hour or 4 hour and 5 minute show that I did with Tobias on chapter, I think 84. You had watched it all, but it was intriguing to you. So for your 3.5 hour show, I would. There's a lot of people out there who like that Hollywood stuff and like seeing into it because it's true and it's real, and it's something that we need to know, because you can really get caught up in the propaganda of it and start having your kids get indoctrinated into Taylor Swift. and then generationally, and then like because you're into Taylor Swift, so when you
they go ahead.
no, you're good. Yeah, it's you know what I'm saying. You get where I'm going with it. So
Yeah. Because there's always the soft, how do you call it, pretty side of it all, and you're like, you see like, oh well, it's just a woman, just a regular pop star singer. She don't look that bad, and you go ahead and give your kids the CDs and everything, and it's like suddenly you actually listen to it or go to the concerts, and it's like that's not what was on the CD or the CD cover, and it's like what's going on here, and it's like there's that whole kind of like just subjectivity all over the place of being like, if I go ahead and ask anyone, is anyone gonna actually give me an honest answer, like an actual answer as to what's going on here, and they'll be like, dude, like don't kill my high,
mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar, and it's like
Exactly.
and it's like you're just reiterating and promoting what someone else from their side of the volleyball team
Mm-hmm.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go against the grain and you're destroying, like you said, their fun, their high. It's like, no, dude, you're lame. Why do you do that? And that's not what it is. That you're looking too into it. She's just a singer. That's all she is. She's entertainment. No, that's just theater what she's doing whenever she comes out and she makes the whole entire scenery red and she's getting lifted up in an all white or all red dress and she's got these devil horns on her face or something, whatever. Like
and pyrotechnics, flaming up,
yeah,
on the sides and everything.
Yeah, like, oh, you're just looking way too into it, dude. Chill out. Like, you're just a conspiracy theorist. It's like, no, dude, that's exactly what they want you to think. Like, they want you to chalk it up as just, no, this is just what we do. Y'all are crazy. We're not the crazy ones. And that is like, that's an MO of the devil. He's been trying to do that since the beginning of time. Like, did the Father not, did he really say that you would die from this tree? Did he really, do you really think that this is a ritualistic thing, that we're bringing a bunch of energy around here and getting all of y'all to sing at the top of your lungs to worship and praise this one girl who's speaking on these things, this literally satanic ritual?
They're preaching.
Oh, they're preaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're preaching.
How do you think they're preaching? For someone who's like watching and they're like, they're not preaching. How would you say they're preaching?
They're preaching their gospels of death, and they're preaching their gospels of the one who comes, steals, lies, and destroys, and murders.
Yeah, and
comes, steals, lies, and destroys.
Yeah, it's, I think it's John 10:10. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Yeah, the devil does. That's who we're talking about. Satan. Just out of pure, anybody who's interested, because we talked about Def Jam Records. So Republic Records is actually what Taylor Swift is with. So hear this, guys. Republic Records has Drake, Ariana Grande, who just did a movie called Wicked, which is crazy in itself. Literally wicked. Like, and then the Bible talks about wickedness, and it talks about, crazy. Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Nicki Minaj, Post Malone, Metro Boomin, Morgan Wallen, Chanel West Coast, Zendaya, Lil Wayne, Kid Cudi, Johnny Depp, Pop Smoke, which that whole Johnny Depp thing that they did, that trial, that was such bogus, bro. And then they threw it into a Netflix series. That was ridiculous. What a look over here, like the OJ thing. Look over here while we're doing this. You know what I mean? It's not even. It's ridiculous, bro.
I don't know about this particular circumstance or situation. So I guess we'll talk about it like a little bit later. Just keep on going.
Okay. Shabuzi, Birdman, Lindsay Lohan. Wow.
Yeah, so you can see how they go ahead and use one of them to pull you in into the entire roster, like and to like pull you in to be like, oh, okay, so now there's all these other musicians, and it's like
Amy Winehouse.
You don't even know what you're getting into.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Before you know it, you're already in it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got their words are in you. You've already been reciting them. You've been praying it. You've been saying it.
You've been loving it.
Loving it. It's in your head. You love it more than you love Jesus. And it's crazy is that a lot of people who say that they're blessed and that like a lot of men.
So not use this as a comparison, because I mean, we're talking about people who don't even know Jesus. I mean, a lot of the times. I'm not saying, for us who actually walk with Jesus, and of course, right, we're kind of like tempted by the world, and God says that we will be tempted. What do you call it? So, I mean, this is also. I mean, this is for the main, common, person.
Yes, even a believer though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know plenty of men who are believers who listen to rap music like Drake, like Kendrick Lamar, like all these guys, these famous guys, and they go around saying God's blessing me. I'm blessed by God, and it's like
they want to get you in.
It's like, no, well, yes, you are blessed by God, but not the Jesus God, because the devil is a God too. I mean, would you fail to say that he is or isn't a God? Like, do you agree that when I say that the devil is a God to those who worship him?
The reason why the Bible says that, he is a God, or, the God of this world,
Prince of this world.
Yeah, Prince of this world, the ruler of this world.
Ruler of this world.
Right, is because, he is immortal. That's the reason why they're going to be cast off into the lake of the lake of fire, after the entire abyss is done away with. I mean, because these things cannot die, and right. The thing is that there needs to be a proper place for where they go, and God is actually properly making this whole thing so that way that is what will happen. Or that is exactly what will happen to all who pretty much make themselves part of this plan and do not get out of it before
before he comes back.
The veil unturns or uncovers.
Mm-hmm. The veil's been unturned whenever he died on the cross, but you're talking about before. Basically, time is just like
to the whole. Yeah.
That comes back and that's torn and revealed more or less. Like basically what happens in Revelation comes. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Like we have until then, and people always say, well, Jesus hasn't came back yet. They've been saying for centuries that Jesus is gonna come back. Jesus is gonna come back. It's like, do you have Jesus in your life? No. Well, you should hope so that he doesn't come back today or the next second. Because if he were to come back right now and you haven't made him the Lord of your life, then that's bad for you. So thank God for his grace and mercy and his long suffering that he hasn't came back yet, because you still have time. That's how much he loves you. You still have time to accept him. You have time to change. You have time to realize that what you're listening to, how you're caught in materialism, you're caught in idolization, you're caught in all these things, worship and the wrong God. And it literally has, since the beginning of time, since Exodus, it's been telling y'all need to stop these false idols. Like, y'all need to stop idolizing these things, because we have a jealous God, and there is a proper place for you. Not because I saw this thing that says that God doesn't send you hell. It said hell, but hell's not in the Bible. But like, basically, God doesn't send anyone away from him. People choose to send themselves away because they choose not to believe in God. So it's not him telling you like, well, be away from me because you're a sinner. No, he's telling you you have the choice, yes or no. And because you lived your whole entire life after hearing messages after messages, word after word from my disciples who are all around you trying to speak to you, you've denied me. You've chose to listen to the enemy or over me. Mm-hmm. And something that you and I haven't even talked about yet, but the Holy Spirit is telling me to say it, is that Lucifer, Satan, was the most handsome angel up there. He was a worshiper. He was a singer, a musician, if I'm not mistaken. And that's why the music industry is what it is. That's why they glitz and glamour is that's why that's so huge in their industry, and singing and all of that. Their quote unquote talents that they have is given to them.
It's all vanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's who it's mimicking. That's who it's resembling. It's resembling the king, their prince.
Yeah.
It's all about how. That's why they're getting their face done and everything restructured, and they're wanting the fame here on Earth because he can't get it.
He
in
wanted
heaven.
all vanity.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted, like it says, his sin was pride, and when you really go ahead and actually try to go ahead and understand something about pride, like you look at pride and being like, what am I looking at here? How do I go ahead and define this thing? What is it, right? And you see that what you're looking at is someone who's like, I just want to be vain, and that's it. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. I want you to continue. I don't want to cut you off, man. I'm looking up vanity. That way people can know, or vain. That way they can understand. Because sometimes, we think we understand the word like ignorant. I don't like when people use the word ignorant in the form of calling someone stupid. It's like, no, ignorance means they just lack knowledge of. That word's been taken out of context so much. So vain. Vain is having or showing an excessively high opinion of one's appearance, abilities, or worth, producing no result or useless.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just about, it don't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's useless singing. It's useless worship. It has no worth.
And it's
vain.
Yeah. It's fake, and the thing is that you can go ahead and say like, how is it fake? I mean, and listen to listen to music. It's like, how is that fake? Because it's all under a politicism, which they're not allowed to go ahead and step out of, or like legitimately, not on some kind of reconnaissance mission to be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and step out of the industry to go ahead and be an informant on what it is I find, on establishing myself as supposedly right, someone who has left the doctrine or the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just pretty much a sailor looking at you from afar, being like yeah, I'm still on the mission. And the thing is that this kind of thing has been done a lot by Hollywood, because they spend a lot of time learning how to use all of their their intelligence to make people stupid, and that's why you go ahead and watch your movies, or you go put on Netflix and being like, all right, like how do they not be able to make like a good movie? They weren't able to make a good movie. They can't make a good movie. This is like, they can't make a good movie. Like, can't make a good movie. They can't make like a good movie. And the people are actually like dumbfounded to be like, you really think these people can't have millions and millions of dollars, $500 million into a movie, which they already planned out like sequels for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by the time it's released,
yeah,
and they couldn't make a good movie because you're just like, well, the book was good, and then they were doing it, and then somehow, after about the first 1/3 of the movie, it just goes to utter crud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I may say so, what's it called? The Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson with I forgot the name of the actor and everything. Okay, Lord of the Rings, the movie the trilogy, after the after the first movie, it was just a homosexual indoctrination program
Hmm.
for 3 hours straight. Everyone in the theater were pretty much kind of look kind of like brushing up like next to each other and being like, like Frodo and Samwise are gay, right? Like, I mean, at least Samwise, right? It's like I don't know, man. Like I don't know what's going on, and like this wasn't this wasn't the case in the book, but like yeah, I'm definitely feeling the vibes you're getting, and it's like you're just there, and it's like, oh Frodo, and it's like dude, like it's been 2 hours, you know. Like I can't take this anymore. And it's like you gotta like walk out of a theater for about like 5 minutes to be like, okay, I gotta get my bearings because like this love story has been going on for too long, and the thing is that nothing has actually been said about it being about it.
Hmm.
And of course Frodo is completely like oblivious to the idea that Samwise is being a little bit too brotherly. Actually, it goes it goes beyond brotherly because you're like you know what brotherly is.
Yeah.
This wasn't brotherly, and anyone who watches the show can see that it's like yeah, like that's just a little bit too touchy, a little bit too kind of like almost grabbing his chest and reaching in for a kiss. And the thing is that is like yeah, I mean it's like dude, it's just accentuation of the romantic idea of Hellenistic etiquette of how people treated each other back then, and they were much more endearing and stuff like that. It's like yeah, but I mean they're kind of Greek playing the thing, Greek dramatically playing the thing more or less to the other side or to the other thing.
To that other team, like I just talked
The other
about.
thing, I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that gay people are a team or anything like that.
Oh no, you said like the volleyball team earlier, like
Yeah.
on their side, right? Like they obviously have an agenda that they're trying to.
Yeah, like
Right,
whoever's pretty much regardless of whatever they are, right? I mean, we're pretty much playing together, pretty much throwing the volleyball over, being like, all right, like it was your fault, like and it's like. And it's like
One thing that's been interesting to me is looking up executive producers. So I was unaware until this year of what a role of an executive producer is. So according to what my research was, is that an executive producer, and correct me if I'm wrong, all their job is basically to funnel money and to market the show or the movie or whatever it is, the show, TV show, movie, music, whatever it is. But they get the title executive producer because they put in money into it, and that's all their real say so is just here's my money. It's like a sponsor. And so at the end of the movies, when you see a bunch of executive producers, it's basically everyone who bought into the movie, and then the producer, however, and the director, they're the ones who run the movie. They just get the funding basically from the executive producers. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. So I started.
Yeah.
So I started looking into some executive producers, and a lot of these executive producers are Jewish, quite a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I didn't know until this year that Adam Sandler was Jewish. Had not a clue.
He celebrated his Jewish background early in his career.
Yeah, he did. And actually, he still to this day has a show out. He has a movie on Netflix called "You're Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah" with his daughter.
Okay.
It's actually his daughters, or both of his daughters are in there, and his wife is in there. It's actually really cool. It's a funny movie. It's a good movie.
It's a real movie.
A real movie.
Okay, I thought it was like a documentary.
No, it's a real movie called "You're Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah."
About her daughter's bar mitzvah, and they're actually actually getting ready and actually going to the bar mitzvah, and it shows a little bit of Adam Sandler's real life or something.
No, it's an entire movie that I guess he directed, that he wrote. I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to get anybody who's listening misconstrued. So you're not invited to my bar mitzvah. Sorry, I was probably saying it wrong.
Women have bar mitzvahs too.
Yeah, I guess so, dude.
Okay.
So that's actually really interesting because I'm not sure. She was having a bat mitzvah, and it says, "So you're so not invited to my bat mitzvah." It came out in 2023. It's on Netflix. Stacy and Lydia are best friends forever, who've always dreamed about having an epic bat mitzvah. However, things start to go comically awry when a popular boy and middle school drama threatens their relationship, their friendship, and their rite of passage.
Yeah.
Um, so what's interesting about it, that when I found out that his background was Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
is that, so it says that Adam Sandler's family is Jewish and descendants from Russian Jewish immigrants on both sides. Sandler grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire. Um, anyway, so I started like really. I've been watching a lot of his shows. Adam Sandler is a pinnacle in like my upbringing, bro. Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore, dude. Little
Man.
Nicky.
That movie like broke me. Dude.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like 6 years old, this is what I'm gonna be watching like for like a month.
Yeah, Little Nicky. I mean, come on, bro. Waterboy. Billy Madison. I mean, come on. We were talking about some pinnacle times, right? And so
Yeah.
when you really go back though, because my faith now, right?
Yeah.
What I've understood, and I get it, it's entertainment. But what do we know about the entertainment industry, right? So you go back and you look at it, and you start really, really watching it. The other night we watched I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. And the movie came out in 2007.
Okay.
Well, guess what happened in 2008? If I'm not mistaken, Barack Obama, for the first time ever in America, approved same-sex marriage in America.
Was that actually his legislation back in 2008? Because that was 2000. I mean, gay marriage was made legal made legal in 2015.
Okay, let me see. You're absolutely right. June 26th.
Yeah.
I apologize. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Same-sex marriage was legalized nationwide in the United States on June 26, 2015, with a Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
However, the journey to marriage equality was not instantaneous. Several states have already legalized same-sex marriage before this date, with some legalizing it through court decisions and other through legislation or voter. So in 2004, Massachusetts became the first state to legalize it. Several states, including through the early 2000s and 2010s, was Connecticut, Iowa, Vermont, Maine. But then it hit a federal level for all 50 states in 2015. But what was interesting is in 2007, that I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry came out. And I believe, wasn't Barack's first presidency in 2008? That's when he stepped into office.
He wasn't in what do you call it when they bring you in?
Yeah, their inaugurations.
Yeah, he was inaugurated until 2009.
Yeah, to 2017. But I found it so interesting because when you go back and look, I didn't realize that they talked about trans in 2007 in that movie. I didn't realize they were talking about gays in that movie. Or like there's this one point in the movie where they're going down a list of like, I don't care if you're this, and it was like these weird names.
Seth Rogen, right?
I don't think it was Seth Rogen. No. It was I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry that they were doing it on, talking about these names.
Who was in that movie?
Man, a lot of people. That's the thing.
Because it's always the same people, dude.
Yeah,
it's always the same people. Like, it's always the same thing.
And my forgiveness on, I'm not trying to hit on like Barack or anything, but what I'm saying is that he is the president that basically, from my understanding, that pushed it out of approving and pushing for legalized gay marriage. But that movie is about two guys trying to act like they're married. And then there's a bunch of, like, they got the word, I don't like saying it because it's a disrespectful word, but because they said it in Chuck and Larry, I'll say it. They got the word faggot in that word. They got the word queer in that word. Okay. They got the word homosexual in that word. And it's like,
in the movie.
Yes, in the movie. And it's crazy because it's like, how has he not gotten canceled?
Who?
Adam Sandler.
Oh, like, he's in that movie?
Yes, brother. I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. It's got Kevin James.
Okay.
Yeah, look, check it out, bro.
Okay, all right. Let me see, because
look at all the guys in the cast.
I was thinking it was going to be like the second line, second line alternatives of the comedy. No, the postmodern comedy movement of, like, I mean, because the second line, right, are our Seth Rogen, what's his name?
Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Danny
uh,
McBride. Yeah.
James Franco,
James Franco, Michael Cera.
how you call it? Um, Steve Carell,
Yeah.
the host of the Late Show now, Stephen Colbert,
Jimmy Fallon.
but Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell, right? They're part of the postmodern comedy movement. That which is also Will Ferrell.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
That's another big one.
Yeah. Yeah, just pretty much just look there and being like just look at the camera and be like, and it's like that's all you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is that
breaking the fourth wall. They call it breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, but the person just just like and the whole thing is that yes, the person is just being stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The premise of it, yeah. But then if you look at it, it goes even deeper because you got all these men being goofy like that, and then look at society. It mimics that same exact behavior directly. Look how many people are in that movie, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, because Adam Sandler always keeps the same people in it. He's got that crew that he runs with.
And the thing is that's way too much of a all-star cast for it to not be just like a propaganda tool.
Exactly.
A propaganda film.
Yeah, and you think it's just funny and it's just jokes, but they have some serious one-liners in there, like some serious one-liners. Like they even have a one part whenever they come out of they're coming out of something, and it's all the gay people are with them, and outside you have these guys that are saying, like with the picket fences, saying you're going to hell, like gay is not the way, gay is not the way, and then you got them coming out saying this one guy's like, you're an abomination, and then the gay guy's like, no sir, that jacket is an abomination. And it's a gay dude telling them, and it's like they're all, it's like this, they're creating strife, they're creating division, and Adam Sandler comes out as basically saying, why can't y'all just let people live? Why can't y'all just let us be us, basically? Subsequently, I'm just summarizing what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then thus is the crux of the seed being planted into our brains, going into our society now from watching what we're seeing and being like, well, why can't you just let somebody be the way that they are? Why can't you do this? Well, it's because we're going based upon
teach their own, right?
Yeah, teach their own. Let someone live the way they want. Yeah, and it's like, well, no, because we're reading our word and we know that it's not supposed to be that way. I'm like, yeah, but you're like them. You're hating everybody. You don't want them. You want them to live your way. You want them to be in control. And thus is the division and the confusion of the music and the movie industry. That's his goal, is to create that, is to control the narrative, is to control societal narrative, is to politicize it, literally.
And also pose also put people against each other.
And that's his biggest thing. What is it called? It's the oldest scheme ever in the book, right? The oldest war scheme is like you talked about the warlocks.
Yeah.
The oldest scheme in this book is divide and conquer. Yeah. It's the oldest thing in the book, but it works. Division, and then you can easily divide a group that's together. Like in Planet of the Apes, the new ones are good, but apes together are stronger, right? When he takes the twigs and puts, you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen them or no?
I saw like the first 3 remakes after Tim Burton, right? After Tim Burton?
I don't know. I don't know if Tim Burton did Tim Burton write those movies?
No. He made one after he made one. Like he made one and then these movies came out.
Oh, you talking about the OG one, the one where Mark Wahlberg is in it? That's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
It was weird. The monkeys were weird. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. It was very how do you call it? Tim Burton. Like
Ish.
It had the Guillermo del Toro kind of thing going.
Yeah, I don't know who's Guillermo del Toro.
Hellboy 2.
Oh.
And Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay. Yeah. A little. The vibe is.
Yeah. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth.
I love that. Yeah, he did.
I did not like that. Was a good, like that was a very rated R movie for like what was supposed to be like basically the story of a little girl,
Yes.
of a kid pretty
Yes.
much saving
Yes.
her brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was terrified.
Oh yeah, man. The guy grabs a ball and just like like he just bashes that guy's face in, like just breaks his nose, right? I was just like,
Bro.
hmm.
I've watched it once and I was like, I'm never watching that again. So what got you? I know we had paused and picked up. I told you we'll go back to Matthew Perry because you were talking about Time magazines and all that. I know we, but just to bring it back on track again, not that there is a track, but so you were saying at that pivotal moment, and that was in 2023, October 28th, if I'm not mistaken, 2023 when he passed. So at that, what was the pivotal moment that you're speaking of that started those things? You were like there was a change or a shift because Time magazine started putting out their Pokemon stuff for 4 months and all that.
When 2020 came around, like everyone, was in their houses, and you started seeing how it's like they really started bringing back the whole Friends culture. Like like the most important thing is the sitcom Friends, and they started putting out a lot of like memorabilia about of Friends, and you could see that they were really just using the creature comforts, just being like stay focused on your past memories of of enjoying the way things used to be, of of what we used to give you as a as an industry of entertainment, and basically
Nostalgia.
yeah, like just pretty much I mean, there's that episode, Member Berries from South Park, where it's just like, remember how do you call it, Ghostbusters? Remember?
You remember?
Yeah, remember? How do you call it, Home Alone?
You remember?
Yeah.
The Member Berries was so funny, bro. That's before South Park. I feel like that was like their last, to me, that was their last little good one. Like then they started getting a little, to me, I had stopped watching it after the Member Berries.
Just toxic, right? Just dude, like this is like I gotta get away from this stuff because like actual acid just spitting down on you.
Yeah, it got really, they lost their way.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying a little too hard or something, or not trying hard enough. I don't know. I couldn't even tell.
No, it's just that it was like now let's just go ahead and put as much hard trash as we can.
Yeah.
It's hard trash the people as hard as we can, because we know that at this point they're just gonna watch it, even though they're just like back there with like I don't know their fast food and their artificial flavors and I don't know what else, right? Too dumb to be like, I kind of think it's funny, and I don't really like it, but I'm gonna watch it. I mean, they're too filled up on just delivered food from restaurants and fast food and artificial flavors and everything else that they don't eat right, and are pretty much just sitting there, and it's like like I'm gonna go ahead, and it's not that funny. I don't really like it, but I'm gonna buy the DVD box whenever the season comes out, because I like South Park, and I'm gonna keep on watching the seasons because I like South Park, even though it's not good anymore. And it's like the person's like, so then why do you watch it? And it's like, I don't know, man. It's something on TV. Like, I mean, like it's kind of funny sometimes. Like, do you not see how sometimes it just kind of like, takes a stab at your heart, or you kind of feel like you didn't come out right you didn't come out right after watching, and it's like, I know, man, but that's just how. I mean that's just South Park. That's how I've been. I mean, most of the stuff that I watch. I mean, that's how it is, right? And the thing is that it is not what it is. People are saying it is what it is, right? No, it either is or it's not. And the thing is that this is not, and certainly it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and on that nostalgia thing, they come back to me. Um, they tried
Yeah.
recently with Snow White. Oh, did they try? They thought that I'm not sure if you've seen it on
No.
that Snow White stuff, but like kind of like how South Park's like they're already hooked. They watch it just to watch it. We could put out kind of whatever we want.
Yeah, they don't
They
care if it's good or not.
They're just gonna go. We'll as long as we get them hooked in for the first few seconds, or just if we put out enough marketing for it, they'll go watch it. And that's what this girl just tried to do. And I know she was backed by her producers, her executive producers. They probably paid her and told her, when you go get interviewed, start saying this, push women independence. And that's another thing that's been getting pushed a lot in these past few years is women independence. Like strong women don't need men, don't need anything. We could do it ourselves. And they're trying to create this culture in younger women that I do what I want, don't tell me what to do. And it has nothing short of but the enemy and the devil trying to work into it, because he's going after the woman. He always goes after the woman. He's been going after the woman since the beginning of time, because he knows he can't get after men because we're too stubborn and we're too in our ways, but he knows that we like going after women. So if women are being that way, just to get with a woman, we'll bend our morals and our ways just for our quick fix or our sexual needs. And so he's going after the woman again. He always has been. But with Snow,
and he persecuted the woman, and she had to go ahead and go into like a dry place where God what do you call it, how do you call it, took care of her for a time being in Revelation.
you know what's, I haven't got to Revelation yet. I'm working my way through the New Testament and towards the back end of it, but I haven't got to Revelation yet because of my faith. I'm trying to build it enough to where I can understand and not be naive going into Revelation, to where I can truly, be led, by the Spirit. So, but speak more on that. I don't.
No,
enlighten me.
You're going good.
Okay, but yeah. So with Snow White, they had did that to where they were just like, we're gonna have this girl go out and she's gonna change the whole entire narrative. It's not a revamp. Like when they did The Lion King, the live make of Lion King, that was pretty great. I thought it was actually really good. I actually cried in the movie Mufasa. Not the Lion King, the first one remake, the live one, but the new one called Mufasa. When I went to watch that, I thought it was actually pretty good. I was like, man, they're not gonna be. They weren't woke. They weren't trying to push a narrative. I kind of liked how they did Scar a little bit, how they gave his background and how it really wasn't his fault, where he came from, and how Mufasa was an orphan and sort of. And I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, it's not bad. Not what I thought they were going to do. Yeah, it's just came out, I think, a year or two ago, called just Mufasa. It's on Disney Plus. So I'll send you that way you can watch it, bro. You should watch it.
CGI or is it animated? Okay.
CGI. Yeah.
All right.
But
did they change the whole like it's got like it gotta look super, like it gotta look like animal realistic and everything?
They did, and it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
It actually picks up from the first live make that they did of The Lion King. It literally picks up from there with Timon and Pumbaa and Rafiki talking about the king before the king. Because Simba goes away, and I don't want to ruin it for you if you watch it. It was actually pretty good.
I was gonna make a three-part story with different books before I guess it all started seeming like more and more like vanity and stuff like that, which was it was called the Lion with the Human Heart, and it's about a lion who saves an elephant, a baby elephant, and he really wants to bring the elephant back to its tribe, or its tribe. And what happens is that he's going hunting with the lions and everything, like the female pack, and they're all they're all kind of covering the elephant, I guess what do you call it? Whenever it's like a horde, not a horde, but like a herd of elephants. And they pretty much try to get them and everything, but the elephants pretty much fight them off. And whenever it's all over, they see that when the little elephant was stepped on, in all the movement and everything. So he makes him a deal. He tells him, "Look, um, I will not let anything happen to that animal until it's died. I'm telling you the truth because otherwise we wouldn't be talking." And so the elephants pretty much like look around and being like out of our way, and he gets out of the way, and they start moving out of their out of the way of the lions. And afterwards, all the lions or all the lionesses are like, "All right, so let's eat." Like and he's like, "No, oh, wait a minute. I told him that I wasn't gonna let anything happen to this elephant until it died." And he's like, "You're kidding, right?" Anyways, like that's very funny. Let's go ahead and eat. And he's like, "No." He's like, "Stop!" And like he gets in front of the elephant, and all the lionesses start just screaming and roaring, and like he's serious. It's like right. And at that point, pretty much, it shows it's like he actually stays all night protecting the elephant. And in the morning, it's there woke up and looking at him, and he's like, "Oh man," he thought it was gonna die. So the rest of the story is pretty much a more or less like everyone getting on his getting on everyone getting on the idea of actually saving the elephant, or actually following him, because it's like it just has this kind of like all right, what is it about this elephant that somehow seems to keep on changing, like it's resolving everything at the same time, like changing everyone's mind.
I like that. That's cool. Where'd you come up with that?
It's part of an idea that I had for 3 short stories. The other one being, and then I thought of the idea of one of the characters. The other characters as a prequel, and another one which is there's a very serious hyena.
Okay.
Who doesn't laugh. He's like Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And where are you going to put that at? Where are you going to publish that at?
I would go ahead and start writing it. Then I can go and probably finish it up in a month.
And then put it out on YouTube.
On YouTube and different platforms. Just add a couple of pictures to just do something with it.
Yeah.
Now it seems so much easier to go ahead and just do creative projects like that, because I've done things that are actually more difficult.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I do that. Yeah, keep doing that. I'm writing actually a book now, so it's interesting. So I say you do that. I love creativity. I love it when people have something that just comes from within and they're able to put out. It's one of my favorite things to see, because literally it's like God pulling out of you what he wants to bring into this world for whatever reason it is. And I like it's something I live for. I loved it. But going into what we're talking about, the nostalgia movement, and then with how they're trying to get us to remember and get us stuck. I'm not sure if you have any more that you want to talk about that, or in that sense. I seriously think that they're trying to get us to start being okay, like, and that's what's crazy is like the whole like what is a woman movement, the whole you got to be okay with what we say, this is how we think, this is how we do things, and if you don't, you're a bigot, if you don't, you're sexist. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just
checking your stuff,
because I didn't know if I left it out in the living room.
You're good. One thing I want to talk about is back to what we had first talked about in the beginning. Was you were talking about your channel, and you were talking about how it started off with you wanting to understand scripture. It started off with you wanting to truly understand scripture for yourself, more than anything. And that's where, like, how does that play into, how has that played a role into what you're doing? Because like you said earlier, like, who's to say this music industry stuff that they're doing is truly right or wrong?
Whenever I saw scripture, it was always, you know, the the understanding of the context, the understanding and the context of what's being talked about changes from book to book many times, especially in the Old Testament. I mean, there is a consistency of what it says whenever it says this or says that, and a lot of times it's speaking on another language that you don't understand whatsoever, because you think that it's like, well, it's saying literally, it's saying figuratively, it's saying that some kind of historical some kind of historical euphemism for what's about to happen, or what occurred. It's describing something that is spiritual, like a spiritual event, a phenomenon, effect, and sometimes it's describing something that's completely magnanimous, in that magnanimous that it means all things, like all those things at the same time. And that was the very interesting thing. It was like, you look at this piece of paper, and it's got this script, this writing on it, and it's like, it means much more than what you're looking at. And it's like, okay, I barely got the first cent of it, and like you go and look around, you go and find out you go and look around and find out you go look around, and then you find out it's a parable. So it's like, this has, and then you actually live it, and it's like, oh dang, dude, it's like, wait a minute. So this was like a football being thrown across the field, right? And I was supposed to go and catch it, and it's like, I just saw it pass by, and I was like, okay, all right, I see it, like I get it, I see it. Now let me go ahead and see what this thing is saying. And of course, I mean, that's part of Jesus's his love. He lets you see the mistake, and then gives you time to go ahead and being like, you got plenty of time to figure this thing, to know when you want to come back to life, to me, or to my Father, really your Father, or to anyone that isn't gonna kill you, to life, because you don't necessarily got to come live with me and stand right next to me, right? But certainly, wherever you are, like, definitely, I got someone over there. He knows me. He's part of my kingdom, etc. He may not live right here in the vicinity, but he lives, whether it's it's Thailand or Italy.
Yeah, I like what you said about how the Bible can be metaphoric in some parts, and changes from one book to another. Some of it can be literal, like, okay, that's you take that for face value, and that's exactly what it says. Nothing outside of it. There's no deeper mystery than that. And then there's some where it's like, no, that's a deep mystery into that, like a deep mystery into that. There's so much into it, from scripture to scripture, because there's some where, and it could be from chapter to chapter or verse to verse, like, okay, that's actually literal, okay, that's not, that's actually, and you don't know that unless you start diving deep. But the revelations that come to you on how whether it is this or that is through the spirit to spirit of what you're reading. You can, like, feel it. It's like, as you're reading it, you can feel that he's like, you feel it in your, for me personally, I feel it in my brain. I can feel it in my mind. I can, like, as if I'm there, and I'm feeling it here, right, in my spirit too. As I'm reading, I'm there, and I'm like, oh man, oh wait, hold on. So that's what it's saying, but that's not what it says here. Like, it is saying what it says, but I see something totally different that you're revealing to me that's even further than the text that's there on the page. And explaining that to somebody who is a non-believer, but even a new believer, like you said on the football field, I love that metaphor that you just used. If you don't know how to play football, you've never stepped on the field. You first off, you need to know this is actually a football field. Okay, this is a football, not a soccer ball, not a basketball. This is a football. Soccer balls are meant for here. This is a football. And then go for a pass. Like what you told a kid, hey man, go out for a pass. What do you mean go out for a pass? Like, what do you want me to pass up? What do you want me to pass? Like, no, okay, so here's what you need to do. I got the ball, right? You're going to start, you could be right here, start over there. I want you just to run out and just run straight out. Just run down the field, run straight that way, and I'm going to throw you the ball, and you're going to try to catch it. And it's going through that. But literally, like, because we think us as believers, and that's a part of evangelizing, to truly be an evangelist, to know that, and I believe we're all evangelists. We're all disciples.
Yeah.
So we all need to take this understanding of remembering. I think we can get us as like Christians. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just
Stretching out?
do my stretch. Yeah.
Okay.
Things.
I think us as evangelists or us as disciples, we can sometimes get some of us can get so carried away with being so far into their walk that they forget what it was like to walk in the beginning and crawl in the beginning and be on the bottle and be on the milk of what it took to get to the point that you're at. And that's why Jesus is always teaching us to be humble, to be a servant, to wash feet, to be always at a humble state, that it's always him doing it and never us. Stay attached to the vine, stay attached to him, because he does everything, not us. And so just as simple as it is, because you think we're in America, everybody should know football. Everyone should know how to play football. If I tell you to go for a pass, you should know what to do. If I tell you this, you should know how to do it. If I play basketball, you should know what a 2-pointer is and what a 3-pointer is and what if I call a layup. Like we already, like us Americans think that people already know when it comes to these things. Something as simple as that. And then you get to the complexity, but really the Bible is simple if it's explained right, but it can get really complex. If
kind of what third quarter, first quarter,
all that, you got to explain everything. What a first down is. Like you got somebody who watches. For me as a kid, dude, when I was a kid, that yellow line, the first down line on TV. When I went there, I truly I was like, "Where's the lines at?
Right?
Where's these things at?" And I'm all like, "Oh." I didn't ask anybody, but I'm like, "Oh, that's only on TV." Like. But you don't know that. You don't know that unless someone teaches you. And then you're just kind of like going, well, I don't want to look stupid and ask because I don't want to seem stupid. But that's where us evangelists, us disciples, us believers who are truly reading our word, truly walking, are able to be like help someone understand, as simple as telling them like, okay, we're going into this like you don't even know nothing. And that's fine because none of us did. And to say that we fully know the Bible, fully know these scriptures, is sometimes it's a little arrogant, but it's good to have that confidence because you should know what these are and you should be able to explain. I've always said that you know how you're if you know something because you're able to teach someone how to do it. If you can teach someone how to do something, you probably know your stuff pretty well and get them to start doing it. So I think I love how you use that metaphor, and I loved how you used and that like when you read the word that it has a lot of ins and outs to it on how you read it. And then it's just getting them to understand from the basics of what these things are and what these scriptures mean and how to use them and why you read the Bible. I think it's why a lot of people stay away from it. That's why a lot of people don't believe that whenever we say, watch out for that secular music, they think you're not trying to have fun. They think that you're boring. They think that we're crazy. They think that we're trying to tell people how to live, that following God is just a lot of rules, a lot of control. You don't get to live free.
They use a lot of the imagery in movies and TV as well. That it's like more or less the media expenditure of promotion of Christianity on mainstream basis, right? Has always given the appearance that it's the dull watching paint dry experience of just it's like not even vanilla,
Mm-mm.
not even mayonnaise.
No.
It's like pretty much you get to have some water and a piece of bread, and it's like, you know, go pray to your God that it's just an imaginary thing, and you know, you're trying to be a good person, and at the same time, it's like, you know, if that isn't the reason why, it's because you have a hard time being a good person. And the thing is that, you know, it's like they, and the whole sense of it, the whole idea of it is that, you know, they have a hard time being a good person. I don't have a hard time being a good person at all. They do. And that's basically how, you know, Christianity is shown to the to the most of the people now.
Yeah.
And has been for some time. That it's just like, well, you know, they're there because they have a hard time being good. And it's like, I don't got any problem with being good. I mean, I can go ahead and go to the bar, and, you know, go to a couple of clubs and do, you know, do some Molly once in a while, and, you know, go to California and pretty much, I don't know, like, you know, and it just goes like that. And it's like I mean, you kind of went wrong when you went that you know, Molly with a thing that you can do once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and
They don't see anything wrong with it though, because they think they're a good person.
oh yeah, they call it Molly, and it got future Molly and Percocet playing on the radio, you know, on their cars. Like, anyway.
Yeah, environment.
Yeah,
It's
they look at their kids, and it's like they have Rick and Morty shirts on.
And they say Jesus Christ on that show, like, a lot, if I'm not mistaken. I used to watch Rick and Morty up until the 4th or 3rd season.
Huh?
It got hard to watch. Funny, don't get me wrong. It used to be funny, but then when I found out, I don't know if I found it out. I think it came across. I may cut this out. I don't know, because I need to go back and check. But their director got caught videotaping a molestation or something that he did, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they put out a scandal.
Oh, it was a scandal, so it wasn't real.
No, I mean, they put out, you know, something to go ahead and being like, you know, whether it's one thing or another, you can never be sure if they're ever doing it purposely, or if someone actually, you know, found that, and that happened. But you know, I heard about the same thing. Apparently, he was dating a 16-year-old, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, now they're all coming out with the whole thing of being like, you know, Puff Daddy is, I guess, taking most of the heat from all of the politicians and all the you know, authoritative corporate conglomerate representatives and authorities.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you know, moguls.
Yeah.
Who have been found out to have a long history of, you know, not having sexual integrity. I mean, you know, I mean, you know, doing these things, you know. So basically, they put all the attention. They distracted all the attention to Puff Daddy. They put all the attention of Puff Daddy to take attention to do that.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, yeah, just
Same thing.
To begin with, yeah. I mean,
Same thing.
That's kind of where it started.
Yeah, it is where it started. They build you up until they don't need you anymore, and then they use you as a scapegoat.
Yeah, but the thing is that he knows. He knows very much as part of the plan to go ahead and keep the eyes on, keep the attention on him, so that way people aren't being focused on
others,
on all the other people's you know, sex trafficking.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now that a lot of people aren't talking about is sex trafficking. That is so huge now. Like, even with the illegal immigrants that are coming over, it's not that we don't want them in this country. It's just that my wife worked down at the border, and to hear what these little kids have to go through, these men and women, grown too, younger and old, all of them, what they have to go through to get here, all the disease that they have, it's hard. It's really it's dark. It gets real dark. Sex trafficking is a big money making industry that's not talked about a lot, and
so it's one of the coldest industries in the world.
I'd say it is. Yeah. Like taking families from home. I hate whenever we're here in Houston and we get, we're in Texas, but we get those child abduction alerts, those Amber alerts, and it's like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, or it's just sad, like immediately just like go to prayer for them, because you're like, man, worst thing comes to your head, especially when they're that young.
I saw videos of of people bringing in like kids that were just screaming and crying, through the border, and they're asking where their mom and dad is, and like some of them are openly, saying screaming and crying, like, get on me mamá, lo que sea. And the other ones are like, they ask them what the kid's name, and they don't know their name. Alex Jones did that fake video of pretty much stopping a car and be like, hey, who are these kids in the car? And like, and they actually like, like tries to like open the car and everything, and the person's like totally compliant. And the thing is that that doesn't happen in real life. You don't have someone pretty much just get in front of your car and be like, hey, who's the kids in your car? And they actually get out and stuff like that. But I mean, that was happening during the time because Alex Jones is always trying to just get on everything to I guess I mean, you gotta remember, you gotta understand that Alex Jones is Joe Rogan's right hand man.
Never had it. I did not know that. I've only seen clips of Alex Jones on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Very few clips.
That's the reason why. I mean, they're so. I mean, like when you think Alex Jones, right? And it's like, where is he usually just hanging out and just talking? Well, he's always on the Joe Rogan, and how do you call it? Joe Rogan has two sidekicks. He has one sidekick and one right hand man. Jordan Peterson is his sidekick, and Alex Jones is his right hand man. Pretty much, Jordan Peterson is there to go ahead and give a sort of subjective interpretation, a subjective outline as to what is being discussed, to go ahead and just kind of give it more of that leniency to look at it this way, to look at it in a sort of and I guess in a way that is subjective, not really giving any objective consistency as to not being biased, right? So just like always leaving room for bias, and of course making it arbitrary and very secular. I mean, I got things to say about Jordan Peterson. If you go ahead and look at his stuff, he's always wearing a Joker suit. He's always wearing a Joker suit. Two things that don't shouldn't be together, or don't have anything to do, like shouldn't be on the same suit, and at the same time playing juxtaposition with those concepts, because he knows very well that the aesthetic of what the person sees very much affects their psychology as to how they see the things that he talks about, or what is said.
He's an on the fence guy. I can't stand it.
He's a rhetorist.
Yeah, explain what a rhetorist is.
Some it's part of the sophistry, which is just pretty much being taught, being a politician, rhetoric and lobbying. You're bought out, and you tell me what to say, how to say it. You go to school to pretty much promote these arguments, or these. You go to school to promote these statements, these false values, or these you go to school to pretty much promote false values, arguments, and agendas.
What was that prop that he was famous for? Was it a proposition for what made him famous in Canada that they were trying to put on in his college to make him basically, you have to use my pronouns, and he was like, I'm not using your pronouns. Like, you can't tell me how to use my speech, and that's what made him famous.
He was against that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
In the beginning, I don't know how he is now. I haven't paid attention to Jordan Peterson in a long time because I started noticing that one thing that bothered me about Jordan Peterson is, as I went to his show, I actually got the VIP pass. I got to see him afterwards. I got a handshake with him and everything. Yeah, right. This was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And loved him. I thought he was great when he first came out. I don't know how he is now. I haven't watched him in a long time. I watched his first podcast with Joe Rogan. That's when he loves Joe Rogan. He tailcoats him a lot because who doesn't tailcoat Joe Rogan? He's the godfather of podcasting. To me, he is. Joe Rogan just is like he's one of the OGs of podcasting.
I saw him whenever he started in 2010. I saw like the first 150 episodes, and after that I was like,
for Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I think I got enough
of him.
Yeah, because you're not gonna watch more than 150 episodes of that, man.
Yeah, well nowadays he's finding his stride. Like, I feel like he's found his stride. He brings people on and is just genuinely curious about people. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care what you think, but he does care what you think. Like, he just wants to know, like, what do you do? Who are you? What are you thinking? Where's your backing at? Where's your sources at? And if you're a liar, when you go on to that show, it will be exposed. But if you're true to what you're doing, he will also find more truth into you. So, like, gotta come correct when you go talk to Joe. There is no, and if you don't know, say you don't know, because he is going to dig and find out. And he's got Jamie behind the scenes, literally probably researching every little thing that you're saying to make sure it's valid and true.
Yeah, he's got to do that now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's got to do that because everyone's stepping up their game. And the thing is that if he wants to go ahead and keep his platform, I mean, if he wants to go and keep his audience, his legitimacy.
Yes.
Then
he's legitimate.
His audience has to continue to go ahead and actually, like him.
Yes.
And if they're saying that, like, he's starting to be more about the and pretty much promoting the of Hollywood, and like what they call puppets, or I
get what you're saying.
And the thing is that he has to make those how do you call it? He has to make those he has to make an effort to look legitimate.
Yeah,
even though he's not.
I could see that. I got to look more into him because I haven't watched him in a long time, so I can't really like definitively sit here and say that's what he's doing.
There's a picture of him and his son Anton LaVey pretty much together, and he's just pretty, like, whenever he was like very young, like 21 or something like that, and he's he's raising the goat. He's raising the index finger and the pinky. And pretty much, I mean, ever since then, he's had, the regular fame, the regular, all out fame.
Yeah.
he's had the regular package
But
that goes with that.
I think
Because like I mean,
I can understand that.
It was like he has the picture of him very young, raising the index finger and the pink finger, the pinky with Antoine LaVey's son. That was him at very young. Then he's an outstanding, how do you call it, New York or Los Angeles or wherever he's from, stand-up comedian. I mean, given that, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are great stand-up comedians. Usually the ones that actually go ahead and opt out for to sell out. The people who sell out are the ones who get the actual deal. So from there, he went on news radio, the sitcom, which is a great sitcom. It's very funny. It's actually very it's very family oriented actually. And Andy Dick also started his career, his television career on there. And from there, he started going on. He did Fear Factor. How do you call it? The World Ultimate Fighting Championship, and then
UFC,
and also being the most how do you call it, famous voice in America as far as an independent platform.
He is, and I get it. I think something's been telling me for a long time that he'll come to Christ, and it'll all turn around.
We're gonna have to whenever how do you call it, God comes.
Yeah. Well, yes, every knee will bow, but and confess that Jesus
before
is Lord.
that, I'm talking the beginning of Revelation. I mean, for all we know, him or someone else, right, might really get hit, and being like, yo, dude, and it becomes that moment where it's like, it ain't the people watching thinking that you have come to Christ. It ain't someone else. How do you call it? Going to know about it. You're in a very serious situation that no one's going to ever know about. And and the thing is that he's in a lot of pain, and certainly the last words that come out his mouth is like, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry for what I did.
So from what I had seen on one clip is that Joe Rogan grew up as a Catholic, from a Catholic family, and one day he said that his aunt switched over to Judaism, and he was like, "Wait, we can do that? I didn't even know that was even possible." And he said from then he kind of like was just questioning a lot of things. He just thought that that's what they always did. The reason why this show is set up the way that it's been set up, to where I'm on this side and I have my guest on this side. I only had one show recently where I had a guest on this side and I was on that side. But the reason why I'm on this side is because the Holy Spirit has told me I will be on that show one day, and that him and I are going to have a conversation, and a good one, and that more than likely he'll come to Christ at that moment, because I'm going to ask him if I can, on his show with his permission, do an altar call, because I always do. I do an altar call at the very end for anyone who's listened to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And he's put it in my heart because what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for good. And God makes you right every single wrong that you've ever done. And he's going to right the wrongs. Jesus does. In the end, he'll right the wrongs. He'll come back and right these wrongs. But even in the now. And he's put it on my heart because I pay homage to him each time that I'm here. Not as an idolization thing, not as like a worshiping thing, but it's just like as a, he's a godfather of podcasting, bro. Like he literally took podcasting and like blew it up of what it is.
You grew up with him.
Yeah. And so I have him on that side, or I'm on this side. So I'm like, it's literally what I've been doing this whole time. The Holy Spirit's been doing is having me practice for him and having these conversations and talk about these things. Like this is the first time I've ever talked about anything when it comes to the music industry, anything about what we're speaking on today. And I love it because it needs to be shined light upon. Like it truly does. But when I go and talk to him, it's not about, I could care less about like the Crusades, the this, the that, and the back then. All that is like, I get it. Christianity has been what it is. We're talking about here and now. We're talking about how does this even work in our lives today? And however the Spirit leads, I don't know how it's going to lead, but he's already told me like when I first started that, no, I want you on this side because this is what ultimately is going to come to. And here's what's going to happen when he does come to Christ and confesses that Jesus is Lord, is his viewers, everyone who he's talked about, who he's planted seeds of DMT in, who he's planted seeds of all those like things he talks about, aliens, the other world, all these things, where we're from, all this stuff, right? And he's just curious, he's just interested, right? Like all of us, like we can go down that rabbit hole, right? Of like talking about, well, what about this and what about that and this drug that. There's got to be more to this and more to that. When he finally comes to Christ, what it's going to do is going to put a lot of those viewers in a seat, and they're going to be like, it's going to turn a lot away from him, and it's actually going to help out a lot of people come to him. But what it's going to do is it's going to test the hearts of those of where now you got your guy who you watch all the time, who always talks about these things, because he's been bringing Christian people on more and more and more lately.
Yeah, because he has to.
He has to, because he's curious. You don't think he's curious?
It's because, how do you call it? They have to go ahead and how do you call it? They have to assimilate Christianity in America as a political tool, and it's and more so to go ahead and cover up their own doings and their own representation, their own real representations. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the only way to do it is to go ahead and re-Christianize America. I mean, it'll have its good effects, but at the same time, a lot of people are going to come up with, pretending, pretending to be I don't know how you say these words, because it's not pretending to be Christian. You're not acting as a Christian. You're you're setting up a plan and ideas to go ahead to create cults, which will call themselves Christianity, but
they're out there.
In the end, these new denominations, or these things that the people that claim that came out of the occult or whatever and found Christ. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's just it's just a mission from the devil to be like, I'm gonna go ahead and claim the cross. And the thing is that, we've been dealing with that in the Catholic Church ever since the beginning.
That's a good point. And when it comes to the Catholic Church, I agree about that one, especially the Roman Catholic Church.
No, how do you call it? Attack on the no attack on the Catholic Church. No offense to the Catholic Church. I myself am Catholic, but whenever we're going to go ahead and discuss, discuss anything, discuss the truth, then I'm going to say that, yeah, we've been dealing with that since the beginning in the Catholic Church.
I agree with that. Yeah. I just feel like, in my good heart of it, I'm just like, man, I would just love for him to come to Christ. I feel like that's what he's searching for. Like, he's searching for truth. That's all. I think that's all any human being is searching for, is truth. They're trying to search for that void to fill. What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose? What are we here for? Why are we here? Where does it come from? Where do we come from? Where do we go? There's just some questions that, like, we don't know, other than faith and belief. Like, and I think that's where the track that he's on. He's always trying to figure out the truth. Like, why do you believe that? Where's your source? Oh, I could see that. Or nah, that's ridiculous. And I think we're all searching for that. And I believe that, I hope that when he does come to Christ, that is what it is. I don't want to put anybody in a box and say that they have an agenda, because I feel like
I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying that getting out of that is not easy.
Oh, no. I agree, because if you could look in the past, Tupac, when he tried to go against it and against the grain and try to get out of it,
he picked his death.
They killed him.
No.
I get it.
I call it and the thing is that, like, my writing, right, the one that specifically anime the final product of counterculture commercialism
on
before YouTube? Before reaching redefinition of intelligent design. That one specifically states how all of these things that we see out of Hollywood are exactly what they said. Ain't no business like show business because it's all show. And the thing is that what's it called? It's Hollywood, so it's exactly what they said. You know, none of it's real. None of it. None
So
of
where
it.
do they go?
Everything from the marriages, everything from the names, everything from the background stories. You know, where they came from, so on and so forth. You know, the kinds of, how do you call it? Experiences. You know, the kind of things that they say that, you know, oh, we did this or we did that, dude. It's all just tabloid talk. And the tabloid, how do you call it? The tabloid system, it's just the third party propagation. It's a promotion system to. It's just the promotion of them, and keeping you focused, keeping you in the consistency of their narrative, because so. And the way they do that is because you're going to the checkout line, and it's like, you gotta know what Brad Pitt's doing. It's like, dude, like, I haven't known anything about Angelina Jolie's or Brad Pitt's relationship, right, in about over 6 years, and still, like, I gotta know something about this, dude. And the thing is that it's complete nonsense. It's not even happening. And it's like dude, and it's like those member berries, dude. Like you know, I mean, you
They're trying to get you stuck.
yeah, but the thing is that, you know, member berries and that and you know Brad Pitt stating, because Brad Pitt isn't doing it. It's just part of the third party promotional tabloid industry that is, you know, the second it's the second or third layer of Hollywood. And you know, it's just there, like, you know, so I gotta keep thinking about Brad Pitt, and it's like, you know, and that relationship, for whatever reason, that was important. That ended like 6 years ago, and it's like, you know, I mean, Ellen DeGeneres or whatever. It's like, I mean, yeah, and that's just how it is. I mean, like, you're there. It's like, I gotta be thinking about Led Zeppelin, dude. Like, you know, I hear him on the radio. I know who Led Zeppelin is. Why do I keep on seeing a magazine with their faces on it, like, you know, every year? Like, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin edition. Rolling Stone, Led Zeppelin edition. Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin edition. Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd edition. Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd edition. The same exact, like, you know, picture and everything. So, yeah. Stay on the Pink Floyd. Don't get off the Pink Floyd, man. And it's like, why not? Because then you're gonna sober up and, like, being like, dude, what the hell? Yeah. That's why they have it right there in the checkout line. So it says, like, you know, and you can't help it though, because you'll be like, all right, so, like, let me see what's going on with them, and you're like, okay, like, all right, anyways. But now it's like, you know, fresh in your mind. Like, now it's part of your mind. I mean, that should have been, like, just, you know, basically refreshed and cached and pretty much done away with, right? Like, deleted a long time ago, but still you're there, like, somehow, dude, Brad Pitt relationship is still important. And it's like, suddenly then, right, it's like, I mean, why don't they just say it, dude? It's like, you know, Brad Pitt has had a threesome with both Angelina Jolie and Jessica, what's her name, Aniston, together, because that's what they do very often and very frequently in Hollywood. That's the reason why how you got Stephen Colbert at the Oscars called everyone sodomites, and everyone laughed, because it's like, you know, everyone knows very well that, for the most part, unless you're very special or very, you know, very well respected person, whether people want to or not, because, you know, I mean, you're just like, you know, dude, I'm someone's son, right? I'm like, you know, who's someone's son, right? Like, I'm my dad is not my dad, but the 200 years of lineage, right, that I have over you. And the thing is that it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that kind of puts it, it's like, I mean, that's the reason why, what's his name, that one dude who was coming up and very, very, very good. He came out in Lords of Dogtown and also how do you call it? Woodstock. He came out Into the Wild. Can you look him up really quick?
Yeah.
He lost. He broke his career. He broke his career by punching a Sony executive in a nightclub.
What's his? What was the titles?
Into the Wild.
Okay, Into the Wild. Am I looking up for a cast?
Yeah.
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah. Emma. Yeah.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about him?
He punched out a Sony executive in a nightclub.
I heard about Sony. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, and he didn't know and he didn't know who that was.
Oh no, an executive producer for Sony?
No, like an executive.
Oh, an executive. Well, even worse.
Yeah. And after that, like, you know, all he got was just like, you know, little things here and there.
Yeah, you start to realize that. Have you seen how Kevin Hart has turned around? Like, you don't see him anymore. Remember there was like a minute where he was on everything, every commercial. He was putting out Ride Along 2. He put out that movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It was the most likable, unlikable black person on television.
Yes,
and,
bro.
And you just had to go ahead and deal with it. And it's like, I really don't like this guy. And he even bothers me more than that, like, you know, kind of sarcastic, a Hindu comedian who, you know, was always kind of like being very, very, very snappy at like everybody else. I forgot his name. He was popular for like 2016 through 2019, something like that. You're not going to be able to find him so easily, or at least he was, you know, I mean, you know, of that area.
Yeah,
for all I know, he could have been from Turkey. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Like he came in and like that's why Cat Williams went on that one show and was talking about how he was telling it's called the Club Shay Shay, and Cat Williams was telling him like, what do you think an industry plant is? Like, you got this guy that comes out of nowhere, immediately gets a record deal or a movie deal, his own movie, has all these star casts in it, and he's like, and Cat Williams was saying, he's like, there's two sides to this thing. Like, he's like, they got their group that they run with, their cabal that they run with, and there's gatekeepers, and Kevin Hart was one of the gatekeepers. You're not going to get any movie unless you go through him. So he says who does and who doesn't. He was like, that's why Cat Williams was going. I don't know if you've ever seen. I'm gonna send that to you. You would love that podcast that they did.
Okay.
And I was thinking about it, and I was just like, yeah, I wondered why. Because even Kevin Hart, towards the end, he started looking weird.
Like the way he looks.
He started looking different. Like even now, like in DraftKings, I think it was a DraftKings.
You always notice that, right? Like after a while, they start looking like their eyes are not like
their face,
like,
their expressions. It's like they're being controlled or told, like with a gun to their head, to go act and to force it. Otherwise, I'm gonna murder you. And the way that they like act, and I say that not loosely. I don't say that loosely. I say that to the extent of like whether it be fake or real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't hop off that train. That's why they talk about selling your soul, because it's not literally selling your soul as in like, here's my soul, but you're buying into their stuff to push out all this product, to push out sodomization, to push out homosexuality, to push out vanity, to push out all these things. That's how you sell your soul, because it's your idol. It's what you're buying into it, and then in return they take care of you.
Yeah, to push out racism.
Yes, the agenda.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they pretty much have two, you know, Hollywood moguls, you know, come at each other and being like, you know, have either a squabble over like race or like, for like, okay, here's like, whenever Will Smith won the Academy Award, right?
Yes, dude.
For Best Actor, right?
For the Serena Twins, that movie, right?
I didn't watch the movie.
Me neither.
I don't even know what movie it was. Like what he was talking about.
I thought it was for the for the Serena Venus Williams. What year was that? It was recently, right?
2022. I mean, I guess it was in 2023.
King Richard. You're right. After
Yeah.
slapping Chris Rock, Will Smith accepts the Oscar for Best Actor for his role in King Richard. Yes. I'm just gonna finish it out. Apologize to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and his fellow nominees, but not Chris Rock. Smith won the Oscar for playing Richard Williams, the father of tennis stars Venus and Serena Williams. Oh, so yeah.
Okay.
So it was that. I guess Richard Williams was their dad, and they called him King Richard, and it was because of the father of he was the father of tennis stars Venus and Serena Williams. So we're both right. We're just
So is he a king?
no.
Or-
They probably
Oh,
called
okay.
him. They probably just like you know how like I always call you King, like what up King, but that's from Revelations 1.
Yeah.
That's why I call you King.
Yeah.
That's what we are. But because we're all kings and queens in heaven. We'll be crowned with favor.
Oh.
Yeah, King Richard is it's just an upbringing movie about the dad raising those two girls.
Yeah, we're kings if we act like one, but the thing is that most of us don't even know how to act like
Man,
a king.
you gotta speak things that are not as though they are, brother.
Yeah, you go ahead and act like a king, right? And it's like,
You have to.
like, dang, dude, like I'm pretty I'm pretty stupid. Like,
Nah,
nah.
yeah,
I mean,
I
like,
get what you're saying, but
yeah.
I get what you're saying, but that yeah, you it's good to realize that if you're starting to realize like, hey man, when I read Proverbs and it talks about fools, that's me. So that's good to realize because that's king wisdom, that's understanding.
Uh-huh.
Kings understand. But yeah, anyways,
The whole point, like, I mean, like when it says right there, do not look to riches and high places of do not look to riches and I guess prestige, because they make their ways to heaven soaring soaring like an eagle.
is that a scripture?
Yeah, and it's Solomon talking, basically saying it's like stop trying to elevate, stop trying to think of yourself as a king, and look for lofty and high places, right?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna make their way. They're gonna soar. They're gonna soar over your head.
Okay.
I mean, they're gonna go over your head. Like you think you know what you're talking about, but once you're actually there, you know that like this was way beyond what you understood.
Let's see. Would it be 2 Chronicles 1:11? God said to Solomon, "Since this is your heart's desire, and you have not asked for wealth, possessions, or honor, nor the death of your enemies, and since you have not asked for a long life, but for wisdom and knowledge to govern my people." No.
It says, "Do not look for loftiness and riches, because they make their way soaring like eagles towards heaven."
Isaiah.
You could put soaring like eagles towards heaven. I'll probably show it. Isaiah 40:31. But those who wait on
How about I say?
Obadiah. I had to look it up, man. It's a Solomon verse, and he's just talking about how it's like if you're looking for like very lofty things and you want like a palace and you think you deserve to be king and everything, it comes with responsibilities that go way over your head as to like like if you want to be an executive or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like once you get there, it's like whoa, hold on, wait a minute, this is a lot of decision making and a lot of complexity to all this, and if I do this, it's like you're gonna run the whole thing into the ground.